As I'm sure you all know, the original Yu-Gi-Oh series was very popular. So popular in fact that everyone's favorite dubbing company, 4Kids Entertainment, decided to cash in on it near its end by creating the spin-off Yu-Gi-Oh Capsule Monsters. Now, what was Capsule Monsters? Well, let's get into the basics. So basically, Capsule Monsters is like a tabletop version of Yu-Gi-Oh using capsules to hold monsters. And 4Kids created a 12-episode spin-off anime for the show. And the plot is fairly simple. Basically what happens is that Joey gets 3 tickets to Indiana, and all of the friends go there. But in typical Yu-Gi-Oh fashion, everything goes wrong as the plane crashes. Now luckily, all of the main characters are fine as they land on a mysterious island, which ends up being the world of Capsule Monsters. And that's where they meet lovable creatures like Thunder Kid. I'm sure everybody loves Thunder Kid, am I right? Along the way, the crew meet Alexander the Great. Yes, you heard me correctly, they met Alexander the Great. So, in quick fashion, what happened is that Alexander the Great was on the island with Yugi's grandpa, but Yugi's grandpa went missing, so now the crew and Alexander must go find him. It's a little weird of a plot, to be honest, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh, so we'll just let it go by. And just to make it clear, this isn't a review of the series. In fact, I just want to talk about why I think Yu-Gi-Oh should try something like this again. And what I mean is that I think they should give Capsule Monsters another chance. You see, a reason why I think it failed is because it was just one small arc for DVD purposes, and they didn't even make that many copies of the actual game. So personally, I think giving it its own separate anime would definitely allow it to take off a lot quicker. Now, I know a lot of people would rather see Dungeon Dice Monsters make a comeback, but I feel like younger kids wouldn't really be able to get into that as much as Capsule Monsters. But now I want to take some time to talk about my personal favorite aspects from the show. To start off, I loved the alternate designs that the characters had in this show. It just kind of gives this series a more original flair to it. I think it just helps it differentiate itself from the original series. Another aspect I really liked of Capsule Monsters was the idea of the characters being split up. For example, in the earlier episodes, Joey was separated on his own, and Tristan and Teo were by themselves as a duo, while Yugi was completely alone. And although it didn't last long, it was still nice to see these characters fend for themselves. And one of my favorite aspects was the Capsule Monster launchers that they were given. Since this show has a more Pokemon, Digimon-esque vibe to it, the characters get launchers to shoot out their monsters from. And I mean, personally, I think these things are just as cool as the Dual Disc. And I definitely think it's a big shame that we never got to see these get turned into real toys. One of the last good things I really liked about the show was that we got to see the monsters interact with the keepers of their decks. For example, we got to see Black Luster Soldier talk to Yami, as well as Celtic Guardian. And although they didn't say too much and their dialogue wasn't perfect, it was still pretty cool. My personal favorite aspect were the super form combinations that the characters got. I mean, in a way, these things were kind of like Zexal before Zexal actually happened. The only time we got something close to this in the original series was when they were turned into their cards, but I think this is a lot cooler. But now that I've talked about what I've liked, let's talk about the actual real-life game itself. So basically, the way you play this game is that you play your 3 strongest cards, and you kind of play like a checkerboard format to get your opponent's Dark Crystal. Or Light Crystal, regardless, it's like a source of power that you have to take from your opponent to win. And in a similar fashion to Dungeon Dice Monsters, these also got 3D realistic toys to go with them, but they weren't all that great, to be completely honest. Another thing I noticed is that the cards follow a more square shape rather than the original card design that Dungeon Dice Monsters copied. Now, in doing research for this video, I also found out that there was a Capsule Monsters video game released. Now, the game isn't anything crazy or too special, I just wanted to bring it up. Now, before we end this video, I just gotta say one more time, I really think Konami should try something like this again. And I really think giving its own anime would really help support it a lot better than just having a smaller DVD short film. And when it comes to the actual spinoff itself, I'm going to give it a good 7 out of 10. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like and subscribe.